The first season of The Rings of Power came to a successful conclusion. A lot happened in the finale, including the unveiling of Gandalf and the identity of Sauron. But they still managed to manufacture some elaborate jewelry to rescue the elven race. These rings are obviously more than simply attractive accessories. They actually have a significant role in Tolkien's lore, but there are many obstacles to overcome first. There is undoubtedly a storm gathering with Sauron returning and his sights set on Middle-earth. But when will we learn the resolutions to the cliffhangers Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne placed for us? Here is everything we currently know about Season 2 of The Rings of Power. Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power Season 2 potential release date. When's it on? There is a great sigh of relief for the Rings of Power fans. Their favorite fantasy program has already received a second season renewal. Even better, the start of production has already occurred. Early October 2022 saw the return of the cast and crew, which indicates that things are moving ahead smoothly but that a second season may not debut for some time. While the COVID-19 pandemic was probably a factor in part of why Season 1 took 18 months to film, it is undeniable that the high production qualities had something to do with it as well. It makes sense that way. The program is really stunning, and that requires a lot of effort, which, according to Jennifer Salk, director of Amazon Studios, they are not ready to rush. Salk cited in Variety, "We want the shortest time possible between seasons, but we want to keep the bar just as high. So it'll take what it takes, but there's been some urgency around moving quickly, which is why these guys have been writing all through their hiatus. We're moving fast." In light of this, we wouldn't anticipate anything until the end of 2023. Nevertheless, if we're being practical, spring 2024 is more likely. Sorry, dudes. Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power Season 2 cast. Who will be coming back? You slippery eel, Halbrand. Charlie Vickers will undoubtedly reprise his part as the King of the Southlands now that we have proof that he was truly Sauron in disguise, which implies Adar will have plenty on his plate. Hence, we anticipate Joseph Maul's return as well. As long as Galadriel has breath in her, we may anticipate Morfydd Clark to make a comeback. Elves die hard. She still has a lot of vengeance to exact, and Sauron will undoubtedly pay for misleading and controlling her. Nobody could ever forget Daniel Wayman's The Stranger, often known as the Meteor Man or, should we say, freaking Gandalf. Because, let's face it, Gandalf the Grey is unquestionably the wizard that is mentioned in the conclusion. We'll need more from him, without a doubt. The Lord of the Rings movie's flashback sequences reveal a significant role for Isildur and his father Elendil. Therefore, it seems likely that Maxim Baldry and Lloyd Owen will return to play those characters. There is a lot brewing as the Second Age progresses. We anticipate the following will return as the final alliance of elves and men, united against Sauron, approaches. Elrond, played by Robert Aramayo. As Arondir, Ismael Cruz Cordova, in his capacity as Lord Celebrimbor. High King Gil-galad is portrayed by Benjamin Walker. Prince Durin portrayed by Owain Arthur. Princess Desai is played by Sophia Nambit. King Durin III was played by Peter Mullen. Mazin and Boniadi portraying Bronwyn. As Theo, Tyro Muafidin. Waldrig is played by Jeff Morrill. In the role of Emriel, Queen Regent of Enmenor, Cynthia Adai Robinson. Lloyd Owen in the role of Captain Elendil. Emma Horvath portrays Irian. Pharazin, Tristan Gravel. Valendil is played by Alex Tarrant. Since Nori left the trail to join Istar, Gandalf, or the stranger on his journey to Rhûn, the Harfoot's future is uncertain. She'll return. Lenny Henry won't be reprising his part as Sadok Burrows because the poor man was dead, but the following Harfoots might. Lego Brandifoot is played by Dylan Smith. Marigold Brandifoot is portrayed by Sarah Swangabani. Dilly Brandifoot is played by Bo Cassidy. Poppy Proudfellow is portrayed by Megan Richards. Malva, played by Thusitha Jayasundara. It has also been reported that a new character will be joining the Rings of Power cast in addition to the familiar faces. One of Middle-Oldest Earth's elves, Ciardan, is expected to appear in Season 2, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Although the part has not yet been filled, the character should be an interesting addition given that this will be Ciardan's first live-action debut. Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power Season 2 plot. What will happen? Big things are anticipated for Season 2. In order to learn more about the stranger's real identity, Nori and he have currently traveled to Rhûn. Like we're clueless, new characters will undoubtedly join the franchise as a result of their trip. Undoubtedly, a battle with Sauron is on the horizon. But first, Uruk-Hadar, the renegade Daylight, must deal with this adversary. If we recall correctly, Sauron has arrived in Mordor, where Adar and his orc allies were having a good time after having recently defeated and driven out the Southlanders. Those they spared from being burned alive or maimed by the raging fire of Mount Doom. When discussing how to rule Middle-earth, Sauron told Galadriel that Mordor would be a good place to start. Speaking of Galadriel, she is still in shock after learning Halbrand's real identity. She had trusted him and confided in him, and yet he took advantage of her. There is no phrase to describe how she feels toward him now if she ever detested him. She will undoubtedly continue to hunt for Sauron's blood in the most terrible ways. In the climactic scene, Galadriel, Elrond, and Celebrimbor forged 3 rings out of their meager supply of mithril in an effort to preserve the elf people. According to Tolkien's lore, one will ultimately come across Gandalf, although it will take a while. He must first determine who he is. The show's upbeat tone will change and become a little scary the following time around, according to executive producer Lindsay Weber, now that Halbrand has been revealed to be Sauron. According to her comments to Deadline, Season 2 is significantly different in that our major villain is out and about, doing his thing. I believe it will become grittier, more intense, and perhaps a little frightening in some aspects. I also believe there's simply so much that's new in the beginning of Season 1, and you have to see how your performers are going to do, how the material is going to feel, and how the balance of it works, she continued. Going into Season 2, we have the advantage of having built these relationships, both the relationships of the characters and the relationships of the actual human cast, and we're the incredible beneficiaries of that thing in being this much further down the road, said one of the show's producers. Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 2 trailer, when can I watch it? Nothing in the way of a trailer is forthcoming just yet. We apologize, but if that changes, we'll be the first to let you know. Enjoy the dazzling Season 1 trailer as often as you want until then on YouTube. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.